Good evening, gentlemen. How's it going? It's Thursday night. It's the Steady Eddie live channel. I'm feeling okay. Hopefully you are too. Last time on this channel, I had a dreadful shoulder ache, but it's almost gone now. Anyway, almost. Nothing serious. I just say hello to everyone. Stephen Gamble. Good evening. Daniel Mills, the fat gent. Tom Easton, good evening, Eddie. When are you heading back over to Thailand? We've done all that in last night's stream. I'll be there in November. John Hughes, Leeds, Patriotist One, Gemini Star, Wayne Kerr, David Coleman, nice to hear from you. Roman Golan, Jet Rapper, Natural in the Buff, Vietnamese lady. Jim Jets, Faraway John, Chris, David Coleman. David Coleman's here from Toronto. He's a regular. What are we going to talk about? Well, remember, this is not essentially a travel channel. The other one is the main channel. That's essentially a travel channel. And if I do a Wednesday night stream there, it tends to go down well because we talk about subjects that are related to travel to, Southeast Asia, really. This is sort of free for all. A lot of the guys here, still want to talk about travel, but we'll talk about other things. There's other bollocks going on. There's a couple of rather unexciting people who are trying to become prime minister. One of them is a woman with a sleepy, just got out of bed look, who was not really very exciting. She looks like one of them wongers that goes out to those bloody, those Middle Eastern countries. And the other is a fella who looks like an Asian version of Dr. Spock. And apparently, he's him and his missus are filthy rich. I've seen a picture of them together. They look very, 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 very glamorous couple together, very filthy rich. I kind of wondered, is his heart really in this country? Apparently he has a green card for America, and I think he has a house in California. I mean, does he just want to use, the prime minister role as a stepping stone to go on to other things? I don't think either of them are, particularly exciting. But anyway, that's one thing. I'm not going to talk about politics all night, unless you want me to. Bernard Purcell, William Singleton, Ian UK, good evening. Natural in the buffet. No, I'm not going to do that. Well, thanks for the offer anyway. Okay, Popcorn, nice to hear from you, Popcorn. Good evening, Ed. Just curious, how many countries have you been to? Have you ever counted? No, I don't count. Because I'll tell you why. I don't like numbers. Because numbers are for. Can I say this? Numbers are for bullshit. Basically, if a guy says that he's been to 57 countries, he's probably been to a lot of countries. He's probably had 22 of them. He's probably been to 37. 57. That sounds better. So I just don't do numbers. I've been to a lot of countries. Latin America, Southeast Asia, other parts of Asia, Europe. I love very, very much. Touched on Africa. I went to one country in Africa. Been to a lot of countries, but I don't do numbers because the fact is, if you start giving numbers out about how many countries you've been to, you can guarantee that the person you're talking to will say, I beat you. I've been to 3 more than that. It's a bit of a wind up. So, but I've been to all the countries that I really I want to go to. But what I will say, I mean, people who've been in the Navy, God bless them. They probably been to a lot of exciting places. People have been to the Navy, but they go to the ports, man. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great port cities in the world, I'm sure. A lot of great port cities, but they definitely been inland. I mean, I've never met a sailor yet who has traveled through the heartland of Peru or Bolivia. I've done that. So I've been to a lot of countries anyway. But thanks for asking anyway, Popcorn. Hard Tulip, how's the shoulder, mate? It's better. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. I was just thinking a moment ago. just thinking a moment ago, but if I get me cutters out and want to, shave me hair, I won't be able to do it. Not with my right. I won't be able to do it at this moment in time, simply because my right hand can't reach the back of my head like it used to. It just can't do it. But it's getting better. Damon, nice to hear from you, David. Even Mr. Handsome Head, God Almighty stuff. Great, terrific. Nice to hear from you, David. Damon, hope all's well. Yogi Bear, nice to hear from you. Nice to hear from you, mate. Gemini Star, Matthew Cartwright. Good to hear from you. Danny Wilder's here. Nice to hear from you. Tom Streeter, John Mitch, David R. Ed, I still don't have a ticket. Oh, I'm sure you can afford one. I'm sure you can afford one, David. Eugene Vincent. Hi, Ed. Evening, gents. Chris, just drinking a Malibu. Chris, just drinking a Malibu and pineapple. Only drinking it because it was on offer in Tesco, and I real. What? Are you sure you spelled that right there, Chris? Just drinking a Malibu and pineapple. Only drinking it because it was on offer in Tesco, and I really tit. Oh, yeah, okay, each to their own, mate. Each to their own, okay. In UK, let's talk soapies, Ed. What can you say about soapies? I mean, I had soapies in Bangkok, but I've never had them anywhere else. Soapies a bit common. You need the right girl. You need the right temperature. Soapies can be wonderful, but when you get a wonderful one, you want to go back and back. But when you get a soapy where they don't get the temperature right and you're bloody freezing to death, it's not quite the same. Here we go. Ed Sweeney's 20 stone white back in England. Eddie, come back to bed. I'm moist as an otter. Oh, don't worry, darling. Don't worry, darling. Nothing can keep me from you, my honey bunch. I'll be there later tonight. David Cohn, what about the rail strike? Jeez, I wouldn't trust the rail. Would you? I don't go on trains in England. I just don't go on them because they're ridiculously expensive and they're unreliable as hell. I would never get a train to an airport, to a London airport, to catch a flight because I just don't trust them. I think they'll cancel without a moment's notice. The National Express coach is just far more reliable, so I just don't do trains. I mean, I traveled around Romania in trains. What trains did I get? I went from Bucharest to Brasov to Sibiu, back to Brasov to the Black Sea coast, and then back up to Bucharest. And those trains were bloody good, much, much cheaper than British trains and reliable as hell, no problem. Why can't British trains be like that? Pinball, good evening. Daniel Mills. That's an interesting, that's an interesting point there. That's an interesting point. I think we're going a little bit backward with saying this, but if Boris was on the ballot paper, he'd win. I think Boris is actually better than the two candidates that you got right now. I know he's a bit of a knob, but he's got all the. Aren't we struggling for decent leaders in this day and age? I mean, but not just Conservatives, but also, I mean, is this the best he can do? When Boris became Prime Minister, people were saying, is that the best you can come up with? And now, the couple of them who are on offer, Jesus, I mean, is that the best? Neither of them are particularly likable. I wouldn't trust either of them. Harry Muff, what's on tap tonight? I'm drinking a Crony here. Lovely Crony. Motel, nice to hear from you. David Walters, nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Neil Fleet, good to hear from you. My friend in Wavertree, likes going out to Gambia, for all the right reasons. Good for you, mate, anyway. Yogi Bear, if Liz Truss' husband couldn't trust her, how can a nation trust her? I don't actually know. I mean, maybe you know something I don't know. Paul Hoskin, Ed is a brilliant actor. Okay, thank you for that. Anyway, thank you for that. Who's this? Eddie, my daddy. I need some pocket money. Okay, I'll send it to. I'll send it to your mother, my estranged wife, and she can hand it to you. Let me see. Oh, this is Chris. I'm just drinking a Malibu and pineapple. I'm not sure about it, but I'm only drinking it because it was on offer at Tesco. Cheapest drink on the shelf, and I'm really tight. Oh, well, Malibu is nice. Malibu is nice. It's nice. It's nice. Good for you anyway. Whatever floats your boat. Wayne Kerr, talk about the energy crisis and the billions of pounds profits by energy companies. I think we're a bit deep. I watched some of that stuff, but it's a bit depressing. That it's a bit depressing stuff, but important stuff. But it's very, very bit depressing. Life of Razor, just having a few beers. Currently in Malta. I've never been to Malta, but I've heard that that's quite a nice place. Good for you. Good to you, mate. Currently in Malta. Apparently, it's only quite a small little place. And quite a few famous films have been filmed there, haven't they? Wasn't Gladiator filmed there and something else? Paul Hoskin, I've only been to 5 countries. Yeah, but I bet you've had your fun in every bloody one of them. I bet you've had your fun in them, mate. That's the important thing. So listen, tonight, this is whatever we want to talk about, but a couple of other little items. One of the things I want to talk about later is the subject which I want to like a very light-hearted subject. What's on Netflix? What's people watching on Netflix? Let's have a little chat about that later. Now, I don't know about you, but are you one of those people? I am who thinks I want to watch a movie on Netflix. I want to sit down for a couple of hours and be entertained. I pay enough money for it. And then you switch Netflix on and you look down, and it takes you about bloody half an hour to decide what you want to watch. And the reason I'm so reluctant to actually commit myself to watching a movie is because if you watch a movie, you know, a 2-hour movie, and it turns out to be crap, that's 2 hours of your life that is wasted. It is 2 hours of your life that is wasted. You know what I mean? And you don't want to waste 2 hours of your life, especially when you paid for it. So that's why I'm trying to careful what I watch. So what I want to do is just have a little scan through some of the big budget Netflix things that are on offer. If you have Netflix, and many of us do, you know what's recommended, and I'll do a few reviews of them and see what you think, and maybe you can tell me that there's a few things out there that I haven't thought about. So that could be an interesting little subject we'll talk about later. Matthew Cartwright, Wayne Kerr, it's also a tax wrap. Don't see the government removing the green energy tax. No, well, I mean, also knows I'm going to be out of here this winter, so I'm not going to be paying. I'm not going to be paying the bills. David Coleman, people that go to Cancun, Mexico, think they went to Mexico. I went to Cancun in Mexico, and I didn't like it, but I did like that resort. That's about, is it 1.5? Is it about an hour away or something like that? Playa del Carmen. That is a much nicer and much a much more palatable and more pleasant place. Nice beaches. The girls go topless. And what I did most about Playa del Carmen, there's a lot of American women there, and an awful lot of silicon, aren't there? I think American women have more silicon than us British women. It's just I was sort of measuring them up, sort of thing. But yeah, Playa del Carmen is really nice. I also climbed Chichen Itza. You had that lovely, wonderful Mayan pyramid. I don't think you can actually climb that anymore, but I did. I got in there. You have a rope, and it's quite scary getting up there and down. But I couldn't bloody do it now with my arm. But yeah, I mean, the other part of Mexico. I mean, Mexico's a big country, and I personally would like to see the other all the other places in Mexico. I'm not quite sure it would go down well on my YouTube channel though, because I've said this before on the other channel. During the lockdown, Mexico was about the only place that was open, and some really, really good vloggers went to Mexico and traveled through there. But the vlogs that they made were not really very exciting. They didn't really, you might make you think, oh, Jesus, I've got to go there. They weren't really very exciting. So I don't know. I'd still like to do it. Stephen Forex, are you including Wales and Scotland, Paul? Wales and Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. I'd like to, but I've never been there. Ty Billy Boy, good evening. Jeff Pot 66, good evening. Stephen Forex, I've only been 4 abroad myself. It's not numbers. You see, it's not numbers that are really important. I mean, I can list. I've been South American countries, Central American countries, Europe, Asia, other places. But like I said earlier, always be skeptical of anyone who has to give numbers out. I've been to 57 countries. He's probably bullshit. He's probably been to less than that, but he's just adding to it another sounding. I just don't do numbers. Gemini Star, Liz Truss is 46 years old. She's almost approaching Wonga age, isn't she then? Frank Travels, nice to hear from you. Jorgen, hi Ed. I wonder if Lisa Dale Lawonga will make an appearance tonight. She may just grace us with her charm and glamorous presence. You never know. Okay, Stephen Forex. Oh God, no doubt. Let's see how long the lame spammers appear too. Okay, absolutely. Now I know we've had this, but I'm not going to give in to it. I know we've had this terrible problem with fakes, fake profiles, and all the rest. But I'm not going to give in to it. I'm not going to. I mean, what these people do is they. I mean, the thing that annoys them most is when you ignore them, and that's what I have a tendency to do. So I'm not going to give it. This is a nice little thing. This is not my main channel. This is a nice little weekday chat. We'll talk about a few things. Yesterday, I spent a whole live stream over 2 hours talking about my flight to Thailand coming up in November for 4 months, and other people in the chat would tell given the same, a lot of people are booked, but this is not a travel channel, and I went through all of that last night, really. So, light-hearted stuff tonight, and if we can't really think of anything to talk about, then we'll finish. Paul Hoskin, me, it's Wales, Scotland, Italy, France, and Thailand, and I'm sure they're all great countries, mate. I'm sure that me, it's Wales, Scotland, Italy. Haven't you been to England? Are you not English, Paul? Me, it's Wales, Scotland, England, France, and Thailand. That sounds like a great choice, mate. Sounds like a great choice. I'd never ever personally boast about being to loads and loads of muck. Let me tell you a little story. Right now, some years ago, I was at work, and I work with the public and all that. And at that time, I owned a property in Turkey. I had a property in Turkey, and I used to go there quite regularly, and also travel to a lot of places, Asia and Latin America and all the rest of it. And I got talking to this guy, this old guy. He was much older than me. In fact, he was about 65 then. And I got to him, and he seemed really excited. He said, "I'm really excited." He says, "I'm going abroad next week for the first time ever." I said, "Really? You've never been abroad?" He says, "No, I'm going away for a week next week." And he seemed really excited about it. I said, "Oh, really? Where are you going exactly?" He said, "I'm going to Fethiye in Turkey. Now, that's where I own the property." And I said, "Fethiye," I said, "Oh, you'll love it there. It's really beautiful. It's a lovely place. You'll love it there." He said, "Why have you been there then, have you?" And I thought about this, and I thought, she said, I couldn't have the heart to tell I owned a property and I've been to so many countries around the world. I said, "Oh yeah, I went there many years ago. Yeah, really nice. You'll enjoy it there." Jeez, now I didn't tell him about all the countries that I'd been to because I didn't want to rub it. I hope this doesn't sound unkind, but there was something a little bit. He was so excited at 65. I've never been abroad before. There was something a little bit pathetic about him. I kind of felt kind of sad for him. What's he been doing? Also, he's probably been doing other things in his life, but he's excited about going abroad for the first time at 65. And I thought to myself, I didn't tell him that I owned a property out there or that I'd been to so many other countries because I'm not a boastful braggart type of person. And I thought to myself, if that was anyone else, some other people I know, they'd have bloody rubbed it. They'd have said, "Well, you're going abroad for the first time when you're 65. I've been round the world 3 times." No, I'm not like that. I'm simply not like that. So I said, good luck to the man. I hope you have a really great time. I felt a little bit, I'm just glad that I've done all the traveling, because I wouldn't like to think that I'm going to go abroad for the first time. But, I kind of felt a little bit sad for the guy. I mean, what is he lived a dull life or something? But, good luck to him. But I'm not a boastful type of person. I'm not the type of person who, meets people and say, well, I've been all around, I've done this. And I'm not like that at all. Not like that at all. I'm just a modest sort of person. Anyway, where is it now? Danish Bacon. Nice to hear from you, Danish Bacon. Always nice to hear from you. Heather Morton. For God's sake, we don't want any of them. Are you talking about the candidates for Prime Minister? No, well, they weren't voted. The country voted for Boris. Because one thing about Boris, I mean, he puts emphasis on the economy, which is the all-important thing. Now, as for the economy, is still very important. Now, Ricky wishy-washy, whatever his name is. Obviously, he's the chancellor. He knows all about economics. Whether what's her name, Liz Truss, knows all about economics. You need a prime minister who's going to put the economy right and look after the economy best. And really, are any of them going to do it? I'm not so sure. Jeff Pott. Have you booked for Thailand yet? Yeah, I have booked. I booked a 4-month ticket beginning in November. Damon, I'm out to the Land of Smiles in a few days for a month, then back again in November. Have you booked for November? Yeah, I have booked for November. I done a live stream on the main channel yesterday. I booked my flight, £770 return, from London to Bangkok, a direct flight. I'm going early November to early March, and I can't wait. So if you're out there in a few days, good luck to you, Damon. I hope you have a great time. I'm sure that you will, mate. I'm sure that you will. Sean Harris, nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Graham Johnson, what do the railway workers want? Their wages are higher than the UK average. Yeah, it sounds a bit greedy to me. Nice to hear from you, Graham. Jeff, he's booked in Nepal. I don't know who's booked in Nepal, but I've never been to Nepal. I wouldn't mind trying that one. That is supposed to be a bloody good place. That's supposed to be a good traveling destination. I've never actually made it to that one. Been to India, but I've never been there. Leeds, yes, the public transport in the UK is terrible for being unreliable. I find that the National Express coach is really good. I really, really do think it's good. Far more reliable than the trains. Far more. K-Pax, I'm a lady, want to put my wig on. Good for you, mate. Jeff Pot 68, you going back to work for a bit or planning another trip sometime soon? I'm not planning another trip. My next trip will be the big one in November. So I'm not planning. So whether I do a bit of work, I've got another 3 months here. We'll see what happens. But thanks for asking anyway. Bangkok bound. Nice to hear from you. David R. I'll get a ticket. I'm playing the waiting game. The thing is, I mean, right now the word is that in Pattaya, everyone's saying that there's so few tourists there. It is low season. There wouldn't normally be many anyway. But the reason that they're given is because the flights are so ridiculously expensive. But I paid about, I would usually expect to pay about $520 for a return ticket. I paid $770, so it's not that much. There are still bargains out there. I think last night's live stream, I think we did quite well because the input from the guys, I think it killed that myth that all the flights are all ridiculously expensive right now. And they're all double or triple. They're not. There are value flights out there. Not as good value as what you would want, but they're still not that bad. Kipax, hi Eddie, I hope your shoulder is better now. When are you going away? I'm going to Thailand at the beginning of November for 4 months. But I'm not staying in Thailand for 4 months like I did last time. I'm not doing that. I'm looking at Cambodia and maybe Laos. I wouldn't mind another visit to Laos. Somebody messaged me today and said, you didn't have a good time last time there, so You could show you around. Give Lao another. We'll see. We'll see. In fact, I'm thinking I might just do a tour that I did some years ago, but before I had the YouTube channel, which involved going through Cambodia and up through Laos. I haven't really got any video of that, so I might do that tour again, and maybe heading up to if you get to the north of Laos, you can then get quite easily to Chiang Mai, and we'll see what happens anyway. See what happens. Yogi Bear, Truss was caught up in a scandal in 2006 after their affair with former Tory MP Mr. Field. After former Tory MP Mr. Field became, also Truss is not to be trusted. Well, personally, I wouldn't care about that. I don't care if she's been knocking off other MPs. I really don't care about that. Can she put the economy right? That's the important thing. I mean, look at the scandals that Bill Clinton got involved in and all of this. I mean, look at those kind of scandals. Really, you're never ever going to get the perfect prime minister, or the perfect president, or the perfect anyone. If you can get someone who can put the economy right and make things better for all of us, that's the important thing. And I think really out of the two of them, I must admit, I don't really like, but I must admit, Rishi Wishy-Washy is probably the one who's going to be better on the economy, in all fairness. It's just the way that it seems to me. David Coleman, I always tell people I'm from Liechtenstein. I love the look on their faces. Good for you, man. I'm not sure what Liechtenstein people look like. Simon Eyes 41, good evening, Eddie. Okay, good evening, Simon Eyes. Nice to hear from you, mate. Migo Dance Now. All right, Eddie, okay. Migo, that's a good name, isn't it? A good name. Paul Hoskin, there's no family on Netflix. You've got a point that you don't see a great deal of the old Full Frontal stuff on Netflix, do you? You don't really see much of that. Not really. And then again, you also got you also got porn up if you want to see that sort of thing. I mean, but the pity that they're all Kojak in this day and age. You can see, if you can see good old fashioned hairy muffs on some YouTube channels. Funnily enough, there's a 70s movie called Vampires, and I seen them at the cinema during the 1970s. About a couple of L vampires, and they had beautiful, lovely hairy muffs. And lovely stuff. Okay. Let's see. Paul Hoskin, correct him on Netflix daily. Chris, did you see the guy sent down? First time it was televised. I seen the judge, the woman judge, sending him down. I mean, what he did, he killed his grandfather, didn't he? And then all of those it was horrible. Anybody claimed it being abused. It's not a kind of thing that I want to talk about this time of night. But it'll make good viewing if they're gonna televise those sorts of things. But it's a bit of a grim subject. It's not really something I want to talk about this time of night. Let's see, Jetob, The Butcher of Delhi is really, really good on Netflix. Is it really? Is it really? Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We'll talk about the stuff on Netflix. The Butcher of Delhi. Presumably that's an Indian movie. But we'll talk about Netflix pretty soon. We'll maybe do a few reviews. Tom Streeter, Ed, did you see the BBC complain that the women's football team was too white? Such a ridiculous statement. It is a bit ridiculous because I would have trust in them. I would think that they're being chosen on merit. That's the important thing. I mean, if you see the Olympics with the athletes, the sprinters and all that, they are black. No one complains about that. No one's we've got to grow up. A lot of swimmers are white, and also we're built differently. Like this, it's not racist to say that anyway. It's all a bit ridiculous, really. Okay, and Nomad Overseas, if you have Amazon Prime, that show Terminal List is, I haven't heard of that. It's meant to be really good. Also, watch The Boys. It's the show where the superheroes, all pricks and all about TV. Right? I have watched The Boys. I watched the first series. I thought the second series was not as good as the first, but I am watching the third series right now. It's yeah, it's a superhero stuff with a difference, and it is really really good. I mean, it takes a little bit of getting into, but it is watchable. You are right. It's called The Boys, and it's well worth it. It's well worth a look. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Let's have a little look through this, and then we'll talk about Netflix and what's where, because it's an important subject. It'd be good to share information over what's good and save you from wasting half an hour like deciding what you want to watch. Kipax Reacher is good, is great. Also, is that Jack Reacher? Is that the one? David Coleman. I like Playa del Carmen. It's a fun town. Playa means beach in Spanish. Yeah, Playa del Carmen was far more likable than Cancun. David Coleman. I climbed the pyramid at Chichen Itza in 2004. I might have seen you there. That's round about the time that I seen it. Have I fallen behind with the chat? Terminal List is awesome. I'll catch up with the chat and then we'll talk a little bit about something else. Let's see, where is it? And Nomad Overseas. Heard Bosch, the show, not the Joe, supposed to be. Bosch is good. I watched the first couple of series. The third one got a little bit tiresome. But Bosch is a detective series set around Hollywood, and the guy who plays it, he's got a strange name. Is it? Well, I can't remember his bloody name. It's a very very strange name. Anyway, his real name and his name in the series. But he's very good. It's very adult. It's really quite adult. And he's kind of like a modern day Humphrey Bogart. He looks a bit like him. Very, very well worth a look, that series. Gemini Star. Andrew Johnson, my friend, from Pattaya. You're in Thailand anyway. Andrew Johnson is retired in Thailand. He's having a great life out there. And even Ed, you'll be well. I hope you're well as well, Andrew. I met up with Andrew last time I was in Pattaya, and we had a good night out together. And I wish you the best of luck, Andrew. I hope it all works out. And I look forward to catching up with you. I'm out there in November. I'm going to be going to other places as well, but I'm out there in November. And it'll be great to meet up again. Nice to hear from you. Nice to hear from you, Andrew. Let's see. Paul Hoskin. I've been to Jersey, but that's not a country. Well, I've never been to Jersey. I know someone who's traveled many, many places, and he said that Jersey was actually one of the places he liked the best. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to skip through this here. No, that's one. Jeff Potts 68. Prison Break is excellent. Now, do you know what? When I first got Netflix, it was about 6-7 years ago, something like that, whenever it was. I watched a lot of things. I watched Breaking Bad, which I think came from another network. Breaking Bad was wonderful, and a few other things. But a lot of people raved about Prison Break. I actually watched the first couple of episodes of Prison Break, and I just thought it lacked a raw edge somehow. I didn't really rate, but then I haven't seen that much of it. Other people say it's wonderful. David Coleman, I'd love to go to Nepal and make it up to the Everest base camp. Okay, it sounds. I've heard Nepal's. Yeah, that sounds really good. I still wouldn't rule that out. Damon, I'm watching The Dawn Wall on Netflix. Very good and interesting. An interesting documentary where to watch. I should watch far more Netflix. I mean, you pay enough money for it on Amazon, but it's just now and again. I must admit, when I watch Netflix, I tend to look out for some not very intelligent stuff. I was really into movies years ago, and I used to like watching, thought-provoking, intelligent movies. I can't really do that anymore because by the time I watch Netflix, which is usually after midnight, I'm having my beers, and I just want something a bit deliberately brain dead. in order to, I don't want anything that requires brain power. So I don't really watch documentaries too much. Kipax, Eddie feeling guilty. Whatever. Let me see. Cats and good coffee. Nice to hear from you. Patriotist One, ever visited Albania, Ed? It's very cheap. Can find hotels in $20 to $40 price range. To be honest, I was considering Albania, but I chose Romania instead. Albania, maybe next year. Yeah, I've heard good reports about it. Who's this? Lisa Dale's fella. Oh, we always got the angry husband coming on now. Lisa Dale's fella. Ed, don't be slagging my missus. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure you do plenty of that. Kipax, tell him about the sandwiches in Pattaya and the 9s and... Tell him about the sandwiches in Pattaya and the 9s and 10s. No, let's look get full, okay? Let me see. Okay. Thailand bound. How's it going, guys? Yeah, okay. I was speaking to Thailand bound on Facebook today. That's all I'm saying for now. David Coleman, Eddie, you were right about not rubbing it into that guy. You were right. I need to be more humble. Yeah, absolutely. I know some real bloody braggart people out there that get on me nerves. A real braggart people out there. Can't stand them. The type of people who bloody eat a cream bun in front of a bunch of starving Ethiopians. You know what I mean? I know people like that. El Terrifico. If I can't vote for Nigel Farage, I won't vote again. I won't vote again. Don't care. I'm going to Cambodia anyhow. Good for you. Nigel Farage will never become prime minister. He's never been an MP, Nigel Farage. He's never won a seat. But he's miles and miles ahead of the others. I really think I'd vote for Nigel Farage. But the only way he's ever become prime minister is if he became leader of the Conservative Party. And I don't see him doing that. Here we go again. She's back. Lisa Dale, for your information, I have never been to Gambia in my life. I'm sure you are a nice man deep down and generally don't realize the pain you and others cause funding your sex tournament. Oh, okay. So you've never been to Gambia in your life? Oh, are you a Tunisian lady? Are you? You like going to Tunisia, like the 73-year-old woman who married a 21-year-old Tunisian waiter? Yeah, nice to hear from you, Lisa. David Coleman, the UK needs a government that is going to stop all these illegal aliens coming in dinghies. It'll never happen, mate. They all say that. They all say they're going to. That we talked about it the other week. Oh my God! Look back that Rwanda. Send it on the plane to what a farce! That's cost the country millions and millions and millions. And what we got out of it, embarrassment. What a bloody joke. What a joke. Lisa Dale's fella. That's it, Lisa. You tell her. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna head forward a little bit. Graham Johnson, Eddie, Korea seems a good place for street food, and perhaps you could go there. Korea, I haven't really. Well, that's probably the best review that I've ever heard of that place, because some of the other reviews. I mean, Korea. I went to Taiwan, didn't I, a couple of years back, and it was interesting. Korea, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that anyway. So listen, before I'm well behind. Let's see. Okay. Martin Birchall. I've been off work 4 months with a cartilage-related issue in my right knee, and I've not seen any orthopedic consultant at Ormskirk or South Perth Hospital. The NHS is a joke. I think it is. I mean, we worry about retiring abroad. I mean, will the health service, will the health service look after us and all this kind of stuff out there? And our own health service isn't a bundle of fun right now. All I was going to say is good luck to you, Martin. Best of luck. Lisa Dale's fella. Lisa Dale's big strap on. Oh my! Oh, getting a bit vulgar here. Getting a bit vulgar here. Okay, getting a bit vulgar. Yeah, Stephen Ford, terrible that man. Not a good time to be ill. I'm just thankful that I've had no real issues, and it's the last couple of bloody years. Up to me. Up to me. Hi, I just saw your lives. How's the shoulder doing? It's a lot better. It's still not perfect. There's still things I can't do, but it's better. Thanks for asking anyway. Tampa guy, the United States went into recession today. We'd love to have the orange man back. Great economy and low gas price. I can't comment on American. Can't comment on American politics. Pele, thumbs up for Eddie, folks. This show is way better than Netflix. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Okay, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. Miles. Oh, I got a super chat there. I got a super chat. Barry from EastEnders, going to Thailand in February. Let me buy you a beer. Will I be in Thailand in February? Well, that'll probably be my last month there. So yeah, but quite likely I'll be there. Thanks for that anyway. thanks for that super chat anyway, Barry. Appreciate that, mate. Cheers. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so just about up to this. So we're chatting away. I mean, there's not much happening. Last night I had a really good live stream, going on about flights to Thailand and all that. But this will, something a little bit different. And it's not a bad subject. So we'll talk about Netflix. What do I say? Netflix for a little bit. If you pay your subscription to Netflix, you really, really want to know what's any good on there. What is any good on there? And it helps if we can get together and recommend a few things. How about these big budget movies? Some of these Netflix things that that Netflix made are costing $200 million. But are they any good? Right now, there's a movie out this week, which is a big $200 million, and they're hailing that it's a big success. It's getting record viewing figures and all the rest. And this movie is called The Grey Man, right? Okay. Now, what this is, I've got it written down somewhere. I've got the publicity. What is this film about? The Grey Man. Okay. What is it about? Let's have a little look. What's it about? It's about this movie is about I'll tell you what The Grey Man is about. What's it about? It's a big budget action movie, 2 hours, just over 2 hours long, right? It's a big budget action movie. It's called The Grey Man. It cost $200 million. It's on Netflix right now, but is it any good? I'll tell you what the plot is about. The plot is about, okay, it's when the CIA's top asset, its identity known to no one, uncovers agency secrets, he triggers a global hunt by assassins set loose by his ex-colleague. Okay. And that's what the film's about. And believe me, I haven't sat through 2 hours of this movie. That's about as far as the story goes. This is a big budget, no holds barred, over the top action movie. It's called The Grey Man. And there's no bloody story to it. The story is that you've got what's his name? You've got what's his name again? Ryan Gosling. It was a bit of a bland actor. I think he's a bit nondescript, but he's the hero. He's the action man. He is the it's very, very much, if you haven't seen it, it's very, very much like a Jason Bourne movie. Jason Bourne, like he's an ex-agent who gets hunted down, to be killed and all this kind of stuff. But you've got Ryan Gosling as the hero, the action man. Now, this is an actor that I don't really rate very high. He's okay, but he's not really very charismatic. Am I right in saying that he was also in what do we call it? He was in the rather really boring remake of Blade Runner. I think he was in that as well. And Ryan Gosling, in case anyone's interested, is coming in the forthcoming movie, a movie version of Barbie. Yeah, a movie about Barbie dolls. So, if anyone's interested in that, anyway. So, Ryan Gosling is the hero of this movie. The villain is another rather nondescript, well-known actor called Chris Evans. And basically, these two people are chasing each other all over the globe. And the criticism is, I like films. I like films where they have European locations. I'm a sucker. I like the James Bond. I'm a sucker for European locations. What I will say about this movie, it features a variety of European locations, but it doesn't really make the best of them. I mean, maybe the director is not really up to it. They don't really exploit these wonderful European locations very much, so it's not really that exciting. So, what do I think about this movie? There's tons of action in this movie, tons of action. But the problem that I have with this movie is that the plot is so bloody weak; it's almost non-existent. He's the guy who's let loose on the world. He's been let loose on the world. Chris Evans is the bad guy who's chasing him down. It all gets very, very nasty. I mean, the scenes where Ryan Gosling is shooting dead, 6 men with 5 bullets and, all this kind of stuff. And it's one of those movies you get into this movie. What the hell is this all about? I mean, for 200 million, you would have thought that at least they would have come up with a decent story for this. They could have slipped me a bloody tenner, and I'd have written a better story than that in 5 minutes. So, also in this movie, there's a young girl in this movie. This kid who's probably aged about 14 or whatever she is. It was sadly, got medical problems, heart problems. She appears in this movie and builds a bit of rapport with Ryan Gosling's action hero. He's got to protect her. And after a while, I'm starting to think, what is this young girl doing in this movie? She seems a bit out of place in this film. She's the vulnerability. She builds a rapport with him. And here's a thing for you. Here's a thing which I always think is a bit cringy. If you ever notice that in action movies where you got this superhero action man, like Liam Neeson in the Taken movies, which are really, really good. Whenever you've got a child to protect, it's always a daughter. It's never a son. That program that was mentioned earlier, Bosch, that's an excellent movie. He's got a daughter. None of these, hard-nosed action men have ever got sons. They've always got daughters to protect. Maybe because that'll show a soft side. I don't know why that is. I don't know why but it's always a daughter, isn't it? So anyway. So what did I think of The Grey Man? The Grey Man. What did I think of The Grey Man? Well, it was okay. It's okay, but for $200 million, you would expect much, much better. The actors in it were not really very exciting. The film's very, very forgettable. And but the main thing, geez, there's almost no story to this movie. There really, really is almost no story. So you got Netflix, watch it. Drink a few beers. Don't take it too seriously, and whatever. That's all I can say. Okay, Roman Golan. Let me see now. Let me see. Okay, Roman Golan, 12. Not sure what that is. See you when potato. Okay, thank you for that anyway. Whatever currency that is, mate. That's super chat. I really, really do appreciate it. Thanks for that, mate. Hope you're enjoying the live stream. Cheers, mate. Sean Harris, Ryan Gosling was in a movie called Only God Forgives. It was made in Bangkok. Only God Forgives. It was made in Bangkok. I didn't see that one, but somebody did mention about this film, The Grey Man. They did mention actually that the movie was lost. They lost the movie when he appears to get a tuk-tuk from Bangkok to Chiang Mai in this movie, The Grey Man. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know. Sorry, I didn't rate it. You Mongers, have you ever seen Bruges, Eddie? Love that film. Great comedy. Maybe book a ticket and visit there. And Ghent is beautiful. Yeah. I think that's a light-hearted little thriller caper set in Bruges. I have seen that movie. It's a little bit forgettable, that one. But a little teensy-weensy bit forgettable. But yeah, I did actually I did actually enjoy that movie. It's a nice movie. That I do like films with European destinations. Okay, so let's see. Who's this? Go back to the chat. Stephen Forrest. Been reporting that porn website spam for weeks now. They still don't. It gets around everywhere, mate. Let me see now. David Coleman. I don't like these bad American actors now. Just garbage. Yeah, I must admit. You know, if Ryan Gosling is the best that they can do, it's no charisma. He's all right, but he's no charisma. Kipax. I watched the new Foot Shoulder film on Amazon Prime. It was good. I've seen some of that. I think I've seen some of them. They look all right then. Okay. Jet Hopper. Computer games are better than movies. Red Dead Redemption 2 is amazing to play in the Last of Us series. Okay, that sounds good to me. Okay, so I'm going to go on to another movie. It's loads of people are arguing in the chat there. Didn't get on with it. Right. This is another big budget movie. These are Netflix's own movies made by Netflix with a massive Tom Kelly's got a comment about that one. Yeah, Emma Dale. You're a big, strong, strapping man. Make a lady come over. I didn't actually mean to put that one, but thanks anyway. Yeah, Tom Kelly. I like Ryan Gosling, but did not like The Grey Man. Way too much gratuitous gun violence. Okay, absolutely. Okay, thanks for your opinion there. Anyway, okay, so another movie which was much long awaited by a lot of excitement and build up to it. This is where Netflix was really taken on a couple of years back. And, going to be, who needs to go to the cinema? We've all got big TVs. I mean, mine's a 48-inch, yeah, and my TV's almost as big. Just a joke, yeah, 48-inch TV. Yeah, and a movie that was much heralded, had a lot of publicity, was a movie called, a 3.5-hour epic called The Irishman. The Irishman, okay? And this is a movie that came out a couple of years back. It's on Netflix. What was it? What is the review of this one? Okay. The Irishman. In the 1950s, truck driver Frank Sheeran gets involved with Russell Bufalino in his Pennsylvania crime family. As Sheeran climbs to become a top hitman, he also goes to work for Jimmy Hoffa, a powerful teamster tied to organized crime. Okay, now it's no wonder that this film had a lot of excitement about it. No bloody wonder, because it's directed by Martin Scorsese, the legendary, amazing Scorsese. Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, Casino, all those wonderful movies that he made. Fantastic. It features Robert De Niro, who's always reliable, always watchable. Joe Pesci, he brought him out of retirement, I believe. And I think for the first time ever in a Scorsese movie, the wonderful Al Pacino. So come on, you've got Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and even Al Pacino in this movie. A 3.5-hour gangster epic called The Irishman. So who can blame you if you were excited by the prospect of this movie? I was. Many people were excited. This is something that they have to say. But I watched this movie, and like a lot of people, I have to say that I was disappointed. I was disappointed. In fact, I've spoken to other people who are fans of Scorsese and De Niro and all that, and I haven't met one person who actually wasn't disappointed. The film is 3.5 hours long, which is way too long, and it's really quite bland. It's not an exciting movie. It's also a movie where there are some good characters there, but the characters are not really likable. And it's one of those movies which is simply not involving. It's not really involving. It comes across as very, very slow and uninvolving. And really, at the end of it, you don't really care what happens. I found when I was watching this movie, and because it's a Scorsese movie, I sat down for the full 3.5 hours. I'm going to watch this from start to I've got to religiously watch this movie. I found that I didn't really care what happened to anybody in this movie because the characters were not really very likable. There were not really no real heroes and villains to identify with. They were all the characters in the movie were not really very, very likable. Let's see. Let's just have a little chat in the little chat. Yeah, somebody. Yeah, Yours Travels said he loved The Irishman. Went on a little long. Yeah, 3.5 hours, mate. Aaron Mack, Eddie. I don't think Barry Norman has anything to favour your film reviews. Okay, fine, thank you. Stephen Gamble, The Irishman is the most boring film I've ever tried to watch. I always fall asleep, and I've never seen the ending. Well, if you've never seen the ending, I don't think you've missed a great deal. Because the ending was probably it did get even. No, sorry, I mean Martin Scorsese. It's almost sacrilege to say that a Martin Scorsese movie featuring Pacino and De Niro and Joe Pesci. It's almost sacrilege to say that it was a disappointing movie. Somehow it was. I mean, it just didn't work, that movie. The story of it just didn't. It was a disappointing movie, and apparently, it obviously cost a lot of money, but anyway, yeah, no, it was a disappointment. I can't really say a great deal more than that. If you love Scorsese like me, like there's past movies, even films that Scorsese made in the past, like Casino, which was thought not to be a satisfactory movie, you can look back at that and watch it again, and that's wonderful. The Irishman, I would not have any ambition to watch that, sit through that again. I really, really wouldn't. Let me see. Yours Travels. Ed the Departed was amazing. I think that The Departed, I think that was the film that finally brought Scorsese his long-awaited Oscar. And it was an amazing film, terrific movie, absolutely terrific. Jet Hopper, I had to learn about Jimmy Hoffa and the Teamsters first before watching it because I didn't know what was going on when I first tried to watch it. Yeah, sometimes it does help to read the book, but really that's film that was definitely the most disappointing film this year. Sean Harris. I think Netflix gives famous directors free reign and they become a little self-indulgent. Same with Spike Lee's The Five Bloods. I haven't seen that one, but Spike Lee made a movie, didn't he make a thriller movie quite recently, which I watched? Can't remember what it was about, but that's unusual for him, because usually he makes other type of movies, doesn't he? Let's see. David Coleman, the first time we're doing Towns is get a soapy massage. I will just tell her to naked the hot. Well, okay, fine. Bernard Purcell, it was okay. Yeah, that's what you thought of The Irishman. Okay. So up to now, we discussed a couple of Netflix's big budget movies. And personally, I thought both of them were disappointing. Well, when I say The Grey Man was disappointing, I wasn't really expecting anything anyway, but it just didn't do it for me. It didn't do it at all. Okay, it just didn't do it. The Irishman, with that pedigree, you couldn't possibly get a better pedigree than the people who were involved in that film. And the end result was something that was really 3.5 hours of really bland, viewing, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. Humongous. De Niro beat down in The Irishman, yeah? Let's see. Eugene Vincent, they seem to do a better job with series rather than films nowadays. Okay, fine. Who's that? Tampa guy, 35. The Irishman is boring. I was expecting much more. Yeah, me too. Me too. David Coleman, no thanks to mob movies. Only The Godfather was great. The Godfather was great, but there have been others. I mean, obviously, Scorsese's Goodfellas, one of the best films ever. Been plenty of others. Eason, man, Carry On Up the Khyber was brilliant. Fukarok has to be the best line. Some wonderful movies in the Carry On movies, wasn't it? What was it? Carry On Cleo. Carry On Cleo. Didn't Kenneth Williams play Caesar, and he's being chased by these attempted assassins, and And Kenneth Williams runs away shouting, "Infamy, infamy! They've all got it in for me." Oh. Yours Travels, Man on Fire, and a part 2, great movies. Oh, it sounds good. Okay, thanks for that recommendation. Let's see, Aaron Mack. Staying 6 months in Thailand 15 years ago nearly ruins you living a normal life back home with a local girl when you had to getting a bit deep there. I want to be light-hearted there. I want to be light-hearted. Humongous. Lilyhammer was a top series. Silvio Dante from Sopranos, set in Norway. I think it was Netflix first original. Lilyhammer. Okay, thanks for that recommendation. Martin Powell, nice to hear from you, mate. Who wants to lead a normal life anyway? If it involves getting a 20-stone missus and going down to the social club, I don't. David Coleman, 100% that go to Cuba and then have to come back to Toronto. It's terrible. Oh, well, dreadful. Jock Martins, it's no good, fellas, but The Irishman was watchable. We were for 3.5 hours. I think it could have been a little bit shorter. Brian Street, have you seen In Bruges? Yeah, I think that was discussed before. I think it's a very, very light-hearted thriller. That one, very entertaining thriller. I like some lighter. Like I explained before, I don't tend to watch, deep thought-provoking movies anymore, because when it's late at night and I've had a few, I want something that's going to entertain. I actually want something a bit brain dead that's going to, entertain me. Stephen Forex, I feel like the only person here who hasn't seen or heard of The Irishman. It had a lot of publicity because Netflix was very, very popular then, and I think this is one of the first movies where they got the really, really big names. And I think that the aim of it was for Netflix to say to the cinema, "We don't need you anymore. All the big names are here, right on your TV set." But it's worth a look. But I mean, it's if you've seen Scorsese's earlier work, very disappointing. Humongous, A Bronx Tale. That's a good movie. It's top class. The main actor in it got 10 years for shooting a cop. Wasted talent. Oh, absolutely. Okay, and Nomad Overseas, Seas of Jotho is well worth a watch here. Yeah, well, a little bit deep there, but yeah, okay. Thanks for that recommendation anyway. Up to Me. Porky's is a great movie. Loads of hairy fannies. No, it wasn't a great movie, but that scene was good. There was only that scene that was good, mate. There's only that one. Jock Martins, Ed, have you decided to retire and become a second-class citizen? No, second class ain't good enough for me. Stephen Forex, Porky's are memory of my youth. Eugene Vincent, Ed, we discussed the great John Barry last night. Thoughts on the other legend, John Williams? Film scores are so integral to the classic. I think John Williams was Steven Spielberg's favourite composer. He did the wonderful theme for Jaws, didn't he? And also for Close Encounters. And I think also he done Star Wars, didn't he? John Williams, he put himself about a bit. I personally wasn't a fan. He was for the big budget stuff. I personally wasn't a fan of John Williams. John Barry was miles better as far as I'm concerned anyway. What's this? Yours Travels. I paid $14.99 for an Odeon Limitless Pass. Go 5 to 6 times a month. Well, that's interesting. I don't go to the cinema anymore. I just don't go. I mean, maybe I should. That sounds good. Good for you, mate. Good for you. I was found with cinemas though. I don't know if they still like it, but they have those seats where you get a pain in the ass. When you're watching a movie, it's kind of bloody pain in the ass with cinema seats. Brian Street, the Flintstones film was good. If you don't want to think, Flintstones is I don't think I've seen that movie. I wouldn't mind watching that. I'll tell you what I did enjoy. Mr. Bean Goes on Holiday. I think I don't know what its correct title was. It was a Mr. Bean holiday where he goes to the French Riviera, and I actually thought that was good fun. What's that? A while back, it was enjoyable. That was. And Nomads Overseas. Steve, I don't suppose there's any chance that the Kentucky Fried Movie is up on Netflix. That was bloody good. It had loads of like knockers in it. That was funny. That funny movie. That was funny movie. Okay, you mongers still haven't been to Thailand yet. Get the violins for me, lads. Need to get out there soon. Put this back. Get out there, mate. It's opening up now. It's opening up. Okay. Stephen Forex, thank you for that super chat. That's very, very kind of you. Sad to hear Bernard Cribbins died yesterday. Takes me back to my childhood. Jack and Nori. Yeah, Bernard Cribbins was one of those actors, British actors, very, very characterful actors. It was in a lot of movies. He was in The Railway Children. But he also played a brief part in that wonderful Alfred Hitchcock movie, Frenzy. He played a brief part in that. And he was one of those character actors that, you'd recognize his face from many, many years ago from TV and movies. Yeah, excellent. Thanks for that super chat, Steve. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. I haven't opened Netflix in years. Well, I don't really, I've considered canceling it. I did cancel it one time, but it's I think it's worth that, but I don't use it that much. Let me see. Now, whatever. Okay, let me see. Okay. Mostly just used this. Yeah, still some good movies on YouTube. Yeah, good stuff. Who's this? The Travel Channel. Casino was good. Long film, though. Long film. Because I'll tell you what, with Casino, that was an excellent movie. Some people were quite hostile to that movie, and I'll tell you why they were hostile to Casino. Because a lot of people felt that it was Scorsese repeating himself. In that movie, they brought along a character, a Joe Pesci psycho character. It was basically the same character that he played in Goodfellas, and the way the story was told in Casino wasn't really entirely satisfactory. But you look back, that was a bloody good movie. Even Scorsese, in them days, at his below best, could still be absolutely wonderful. So yeah, Casino's a great film. Donnie Brasco, another good one. I tell you what, Donnie Brasco, I wasn't that fond of that movie. I thought Al Pacino was excellent in him. I'll tell you what, he's Johnny Depp next to Al Pacino didn't look good. Pacino just stole the acting really easily from him. Oh yeah, Yogi Bear, was he the voice of the Wombles? The Wombles as well. Bernard Cribbins. Yeah, absolutely. He's done voiceovers and all kinds of things. Who's this? In UK, Russ Meyer did some classy titty films back in the 60s. I like Russ Meyer. I like Russ Meyer movies. Enough said. You monks, I think Sopranos are the best out of all of them. My favorite TV series by far, endlessly rewatchable. I know, good series, definitely. Oh yeah. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Yeah, he's coming. I'm actually going to, before I block him, he's actually stole my picture from one of my videos. Ed's views are promised. Oh Jesus! Oh, whatever. Oh God, he's going on, isn't it? He's going on, isn't he? Okay, Ed's viewers. Okay, there you go. Okay, so bye. You give me a laugh, but then you're gone now anyway. Pele, why pay for Netflix when all their movies and series are available for free downloading on the? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know. Jet Hopper, the Fargo series is up there for me, and Better Call Saul. I like I love the original Fargo movie, excellent, and also the first Fargo series was really, really good. I thought the second one became a little teensy weensy bit mechanical, really, a little bit mechanical. You monks used to have a job at a camping company when we had nothing to do, wombling, going around, site clearing up litter. Okay, fine, thank you. Stephen Forex, yeah, I have a Fire Stick with the channels on. Yeah, I've heard about that as well. I've heard about that. Let me see. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're just going to put this. It's time for what do we do? What are we doing? It's squeaky door time. Okay, back in a minute, and I'll reveal a movie that is worth watching on Netflix. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Squeaky door time. Let's see. A Nomad Overseas. I've heard Ozarks is excellent. We're not seeing it. Also, a City on the Hill is worth a watch. I was recommended to watch the first series of Ozark. I think it's a little bit of it's like a gangster movie with a family in the center of it. I think it's a little teensy weensy bit of a rip off of Breaking Bad. You know, the idea of getting families involved in the drugs war and all this kind of stuff. I like the first series of Ozark. I thought the second one was a little teensy weensy bit slow and tiresome. Humongous. I think what a lot of say is they go on for too long quality. Absolutely. Okay, just going to block this dickhead and just going to block this dickhead because he's back, isn't he? Well, what's his name? I view as a proper scum. He's come back with another one, hasn't he? There we go. There we go. There you go. Just block him. Okay. So I think I blocked it. I think I blocked him. Or does he come back with another one? Does he come back with various? He's another kid. Okay. Now, listen. If he keeps coming in, he's a dickhead. He's a dickhead. He's got my stuff there. I'm having problems blocking this one now. I'll see if I can block him. Not going to waste too much time on him. Not going to wait because he's a dickhead. We all know what a dickhead is. We all know, I met many dickheads. This fella's a dickhead, okay? So, enough of that dickhead. Enough of that dickhead. Okay. Let's see if the other one works. Okay. Okay. Right. So, the Grey Man, 200 million, not worth 200 million movie without a decent storyline. The Irishman, big budget, legendary, pedigree, quality cast and director, but the ultimately a disappointing. Ultimately, a disappointing, slow, and not very exciting movie. But one movie, that big budget movie, which I really, really did enjoy on Netflix. It's a brain dead movie. It's brain dead, and you may think, well, what the hell are you watching that for? It's simply because I like late at night. I want a big budget, exciting, brain dead movie. Not perfect, but I did really, really, in fact, I enjoyed it so much. I actually watched it twice. I watched Red Notice. It's a 2-hour movie featuring Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and other people. I don't even know the names of those actors, but it's got Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Let me see now. And what's it about? Okay. Red Notice, it's called. And the publicity of it is, in the world of international crime, an Interpol agent attempts to hunt down and capture the world's most wanted art thief. So basically, that's what it's all about. Now, this movie gets a bit silly. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, I actually really, really like him. I think he's really, really good. His physical presence and even the way he acts, he's bloody good. He's got amazing charisma. I really, really, really do like The Rock. Now, the other guy in that, he's the international art thief who they chase the world. They become partners and then they fall out and they sort of double crossing. It's all about art, art thieves and all this kind of stuff. It's a whopping $200 million big budget movie. And is it any good? Yeah, it is a really good movie. The other actor is a bit annoying. He can be a little teensy weensy bit annoying. And the girl, she appears and she just comes along for the ride. The thing is, a lot of these movies nowadays are pretty brain dead. They just bring actors in. They bring her in because she's a glamorous girl, and we may as well include a glamorous girl in it. So it's a big budget caper movie about an Interpol agent chasing an art thief, and then they double cross each other. They become partners. They even end up in a Russian prison at one time together. Is this any good? I've watched it twice. It's not an intelligent movie. It's so over the top. But what it does it really, really well. It's a very colourful movie, and the action set pieces on this movie are really sensational. And unlike the other movie I mentioned before, this movie is filmed in a lot of glamorous European locations, and it's got a much better director. It must have, because they actually managed to make the best of those European locations. It's like, if you like James Bond movies, you would like this. It does get a teensy weensy bit silly. It does get a little bit, at times. But if you can overlook that, you will find that Red Notice is a hugely enjoyable movie. The action set pieces, it's worth watching for that alone. It's just an all-round better. I mean, that movie, The Grey Man, it's a very grey film, really. It's really quite a dull movie in comparison to this one. Red Notice, as the wonderful Dwayne Johnson. It has a couple of glamorous women. It has a good actor who plays a very good actor who plays. Does someone say his name's Ryan? Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, really famous. I'm not sure if I've seen him in anything. Okay, Ryan Reynolds. He's a very, very good actor, but he can be a little bit annoying. Altogether, it's if you like a bit of brain dead entertainment, it's really quite perfect. I liked it. I really, really liked it. Okay. Now, Ben Purcell didn't like it. He didn't like it. That's I think he's selling up. What's his name? Okay. Oh, let's see. Okay, can we get rid of it? Let me see. Okay. Let's see. Paul Vaughan, The Rock Connie makes the Yanks look. The Rock Connie makes the. I don't know what kind of comment that is, mate. Dickhead. Yogi mate, Dickhead's back. Yeah, he's back. Listen, don't worry about Dickhead. I'm not worried about it. Who cares? We all know what a dickhead is. I mean, he's come. He may as well call himself Dickhead, because that's exactly what he's a dickhead. And just dickhead. Just ignore him. Stephen Forex, everyone's a critic, okay? So, out of the movies that yourselves, as you don't have to block this in, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I know the three dots. I've tried to put them on a block, but I've actually ended up, it's not a great, sometimes it just doesn't do it. StreamYard is a bit problematic. So I'll put them on timeout. Yeah, David Cooks. I wonder what Lisa's seen this. I wonder what Lisa thinks about this. Let's see. What is it? David Cohen, I blocked the ticket. Okay. So we've gone through three movies. If you want to know what you watch on that, you look for a good movie. I've reviewed three movies, three of the biggest budget movies that Netflix have made. Two of them not so good. One of them not perfect, but I enjoyed it. Red Noses. It's such a colourful, brain dead, over the top, nonsensical movie. But the action scenes, what it does it very, very slickly, lovely, glamorous locations. It's worth a look. Red Noses is definitely the best of the bunch, okay? Definitely. Humongous. One of the worst ones I saw late was The Shape of Water. A woman falls in love with a mermaid, Frogman. It won an Oscar, absolute shite. Strange bloody, yeah, it sounds like a strange bit. I've heard of it, I don't know, have you seen that? Let's see. Yeah, Jock Martins. This is Lisa in disguise. Oh, let's see. Okay, let's see. What is this now? And Nomad Overseas, Steady Eddie Lab. You probably need to block him within YouTube rather than within StreamYard. Oh, absolutely. Oh, don't worry. But we have trolls. We have a laugh. We have a laugh. You know, we have a laugh with trolls. You know, as long as they're funny, as long as they're fun. We all know that trolls are dickheads. You know. Let's go. What's that? Humongous. Is that guy spamming a ladyboy who you turned down and out for revenge? Okay. Simon Eyes 41. Nice to have it. I lost respect for Dwayne Johnson after he criminally liberalized ballers. He ruined the very funny of slightly dark comedy. He dragged in the whole bit. He dragged in the whole BLM front, ruined it, killed it. Oh well, whatever. Did I see something about Dwayne Johnson, when he was going on about, you know, he depression. He was telling me he had depression also, and I must admit, if I'm right, I think it was him who was talking about depression, and I thought, how can a guy who's physically perfect and has everything in the world and be so rich and have an amazing movie career, how can he possibly be depressed about anything? You know, I don't know. Okay, Yours Travels. Where's the Crawdad sing? Was really, I've never heard of that. Yours Travels. Yeah, the Black Phone was really, really good. Okay, fine. Thanks for that, Yours Travels. David Coleman. All these left-wing actors take a knee. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pour myself a 3 barrels. It's not the best brandy, but it's goes down well anyway. Just a nice. There you go. Good. Pour myself a nice shot of 3 barrels. Why the hell not? It's allowed, isn't it? It's allowed. I'm over 18. There we go. Lovely. Okay, lovely. Stephen Fordax, he might have everything yet, but I bet he never savoured the delights of a Greg's cheese and onion pasty. Absolutely. Well said. Yours Travels, them 2 movies on the cinema now, so you probably haven't seen it. Okay, all right, fine, thank you. David Coleman, I'm having a cup of tea just like the Queen. Okay, so remember this channel, this is the Steady Eddie Live channel. This is a smaller channel than the other one. On the other channel, when we do a live stream, which is usually Wednesday evening, we talk about travel-related subjects. We'll talk about anything and everything. A little bit of travel, if that's what you want to talk about. But we'll waffle. We'll waffle on about other things. Okay, and Nomad Overseas. I've known a few people with depression. Many of them, it's just a chemical imbalance in their brain. Doesn't matter if you look like Quasimodo or Scarlett Johansson. They suffer the same. Yeah, okay, but well said, mate. Well said. Jock Martins, get the Hennessy out, Ed. Stop messing around. The best in the business. I had a Hennessy quite recently. Nice. Humongous. You tune in for Community Shield on Saturday. Can't watch seeing AC/DC and Kiss tribute bands. I don't know about that. Steph Traveller, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, so what we're going to do now, then we talk about other things. Right, we'll waffle on a little bit about Netflix. A lot of people are interested in this. You know, it's good to share what movies are worth watching and what are not worth watching. So now I'm going to finish this pretty soon. But before I go, I'm going to do another. Now, it won't go down well with everyone. I experimented the other day, but I kind of like the classic news stories, you know, about scandals. So I'm going to just do another one, just one to finish off with. Where is this? Okay, another episode of Scandals. It's one of those news stories with some of you may never have heard of, but some of you may think, "Oh my God, yeah, I remember when that was in the news." And this is actually one of my favorites. It's actually one of my favorites. This is. Let's see. Okay. So, does anybody remember this person in the news in the late 1970s? Does anybody remember when this was in the news all the time? Who remembers the name of Joyce McKinney? Remember her in the late 1970s? What in the news a hell of a lot. What was it that she done to get behind bars and get in the news? Anyone remember that? Let's see. Can't wait for Liverpool match. Archie, Bill, David Cohn, Bill Clinton gave Monica Lewinsky the cigar. And always. Does anybody remember Joyce McKinney? It was one of those stories from around about 77. She was in the news all the time. She was an American so-called model, except she wasn't really that good looking. She wasn't really that good looking. So no one going to get it. What was it that she done to make the news and be in the news? Whoa, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. The MBKN channel, Travel Channel, Sex in Chains. Yeah, that's what it was. Sex in Chains. That was exactly what it was. Let's say a nomad overseas. Go with that picture she's done about a coast scuttle full of whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Pinball. Did she kidnap a Mormon? Yes, she did. I'll tell you exactly what she did. It was in the news. I was never out of the news. One of those news stories that was in the news all the time because it had all the elements of it. And let's see, where are we now? Okay, so what did she do exactly? Joyce McKinney. Do we have anything else about Joyce McKinney here? No, I don't believe it did. I think I photographed a little bit of it, but it doesn't seem to be. Is it here? Yeah. What was it that Joyce McKinney? I'll just read what she done. I mean, if you think some of these strange news stories nowadays, there's nothing strange. There's all kinds of weird scandals from the past. Okay, so let's see. So incident. A young missionary, Kirk Anderson, went missing on 14th of September 1977 in Ewell, Surrey. He was allegedly abducted from the steps of a meeting house of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints by Keith May, a guy called Keith May, who had posed as an investigator into Mormonism using a fake handgun and children. So she didn't do this alone, remember. 3 days later, a freed Anderson made a report that the police he had been abducted, driven to Devon, and imprisoned against his will, chained to a bed in a cottage where Joyce Brennan McKinney, a Miss World USA 1973 participant, had attempted to seduce him and then raped him. Police set up a sting operation by having Anderson set up a September the 21st rendezvous with McKinney and May, leading to the two suspects being arrested. Oh my God. Right. So this is what it is. She basically, she's an American. I think she moved to Utah where she became obsessed with the Osmonds. And I don't know what it is. I think one of the Osmonds did get to know her, but kind of spurned her. It was something like that. But she became obsessed with Mormons, and she followed this Mormon guy who looked like one of the Osmonds. He's got like a Donny Osmond kind of face. She followed him back to Britain and arranged with a private, somebody else, another guy, to kidnap him. And then she forced him. They tied him to a bed, tied him up in chains, and forced him to have sex with her. I mean, really bit of a wacko. Let's see, a nomad overseas. Look at the history of the Mormons. They used to disguise themselves as Indians and attack wagon trains that were moving out west. I've never heard that before. Joyce McKinney, very much dirty Gertie from number 30, absolutely. David Coleman, the Mormons are terrible killers. It's history. I didn't know that. And I always thought they were all like Donny Osmond. Oh my God. You monks ever seen the book of Mormons? Ladies, highly recommend. You can listen to it. I didn't know. I thought they all wore white suits and got on stage and behaved like the Osmonds. That's what I thought Mormons were. I didn't know that was it. Jock Martins, that's a beautiful story. I mean, the thing is, if she the R word. I don't want to say the R word. It's an awful word. But the thing is, how can a woman do that to a man? I mean, you know, the fact is, he must have got an Eiffel Tower, mustn't he? I mean, you know, if he didn't want it, then he wouldn't get an Eiffel Tower, would he? In order for a man needs an Eiffel Tower in order for a woman to, you know, whatever. You know what I'm talking. Simon Eyes, the last I turned him into a sex slave. I mean, she. Well, I don't know. It was always in the news. It went on for a long, long time. And apparently, I think she absconded. I don't think she ever actually faced justice. In fact, I think the FBI, you know, were looking for her many years later. But she ended up doing other things in the 1980s, and it was all really bizarre. But you know, if you see a news story nowadays, and you do that strange behaviour, the world's going downhill. There's crazy people nowadays. We had crazy people in them days as well. David Coleman, how can a man be right? You either like it or you don't. Okay. You Mongus, don't believe Mormons. You Mongus, don't Mormons believe Jesus Christ visited USA? Did he fly Concorde? Oh, whatever. A nomad overseas. This is sounding more and more like that Stephen King story, Misery. I don't know when Stephen King wrote that. Maybe that's what he based it on. But you know, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Truth can be stranger than fiction. But that was the scandal of Joyce McKinney. I like all these. I was thinking about, you know, talking about scandals in the past, and a couple of them, 20 of them. So I'll feature one of them. I mean, it doesn't go down well with everyone. You know, some people go, what the hell's he talking about that for? But some of these past news stories that you've grown up with are well worth remembering. But even today, you know, that name of Joyce McKinney is you know, it still rings in my ears because it was always in the news. And it was she actually posed naked on the front page of the Sun newspaper at one, which obviously I can't show you. Yogi Bear, she tied him to the bedpost, took off his top and jeans, and give him what she wants. Okay, absolutely. Kenny Beck, good evening. Good evening to you, Kenny. Nice to hear from you. Jock Martins, is the world manga racist? No, because that can be anyone, can't it? Smooth Operator. Hi, Ed. Later the stream. I'll watch it on demand tomorrow. Okay, cheers. Thanks for that anyway. So listen, guys. We've been on for an hour and 34 minutes. Remember, this is not essentially a channel, a travel channel. So we talk about it this summer. Basically, it's Thursday night. It's weekdays. And we'll talk about, you know, anything that I think we're into. I think we'll do the Netflix reviews, and you know, and some of the guys. I'll go through this chat and see what some of the guys have recommended on Netflix, because that's important. I mean, if you're going to pay a subscription for these things, you want to know what's worth checking out. So it's a good thing to talk about. As for the scandals, there's most. I was looking in the past, and some of them are really, really funny. They're worth mentioning. Won't appeal to everyone, but it's nice to have a little bit of a blast from the past. And the other day we talked about George Davis, something else. Then George Davis, something, and now Joyce McKinney. You know, these were the bizarre stories from the olden days. Let's say a nomad overseas. You monks, you can't remember the found, but it seems he found some magical golden tablets when he was 17, but he could translate them with the existence of an angel. I wonder, why would Joyce McKinney, you know, a woman, a single woman, be so obsessed with the Mormons? Maybe because she wanted to be with she wanted to be one of many wives. They have loads of wives, don't they, the Mormons? Yeah, you know. I mean, funny enough, I passed a theatre the other day, and there was they're doing a theatre show about the Osmonds, and they've all got white suits. I'll tell you what, I still think of Donny Osmond and the other Osmonds, but I'll tell you what, that Marie Osmond, I wouldn't say no. Good looking woman. She's got about 27 kids. I wouldn't say no. It's David Cooks. I think it's past your bedtime. Okay. You Mongus. Yeah, South Park did a great parody, didn't they? They also wrote the Book of Mormon Trailer Park. You got me going now. I want to know more about Mormons. Bernard Purcell, hit the like button. Fine, thank you for that anyway. David Coleman, yes, so funny. Okay. David Coleman, the Mormons are one of the biggest scams in the world. Well, I can't comment on that. All as I know is that they won't get any of my money. Jock Martins. John Wayne was a kid from the past, bar none. Okay, fine. David Cook, yes. Okay. So Bernard Purcell, 5 to 7 wives. Christ almighty. Yeah, but have you seen the state? I seen a document. I think it was an Alan Wicker documentary once. You know, about Mormons, and you know Mormons, and like these fellas who've got to be bloody rich to begin with. You know, you're not going to have 5 to 7 wives if you got no money. But he had all of these wives, didn't he? All of these wives, but they were all bloody pig ugly. I mean, it's not as if like they were all dolly birds. You know what I mean? It's not as if they were all like bloody overweight and pig ugly. Would you really want? Don't some people live strange lives? They really do. Humongous. Think of the earache from that 5 to 7. Well, yeah, bloody 5 to 7 times the nagging. David Coleman, who's the actor that got the? I heard him. I heard about that. Isn't it one of the really most good-looking actors from the 1980s? David Coleman. Who's the actor that got the? Apparently, I'm not going to go into it because it's not politically correct. But yeah, I heard all about that. And nobody was instead of life. You could ask the same question: is why some women want to become girlfriends of serial killers in prison? There are insane people everywhere, and everyone has their own king. I agree with you, mate. But I mean, there was some woman who became pen pals with Peter Sutcliffe. He's dead now, the Yorkshire Ripper. Good riddance to him. He's dead now. But why would some women become obsessed with serial killers? Well, they must be bloody sick. The serial killer's obviously sick, but also any woman who gets a kick out of I'm pen pals with Peter Sutcliffe and bloody sick, some sick bastards in the world. I know that much. Really. David Coleman, 100%. Yeah, Tampa guy, Richard Gere. Yeah, okay. We ain't all about that. Imagine, Jesus Christ, what I mean, I'm not into any kinkies. I'm really bland, but imagine having a gerbil shoved up your ass. For Christ's sake. What a horrible thought. Yeah, Alexander Day. Evening, Ed. In a bit late tonight, where's our friend Lisa? I'd like to buy her a drink. Lisa, if you're out there, you got to find her, Lisa. We're going to buy her a drink. Humongous Richard Gere hamster up there. Okay, I don't know who that is, but I don't know who that. Who's this? I said, man. No, there's nothing wrong with Mormons. I would have given her the husband. Tasty. Apparently, there's a little interview on YouTube somewhere where she met Pamela Anderson. And apparently, didn't Pamela Anderson? You were offered Playboy or something like that. She was actually offered Playboy. Imagine a Mormon girl, the sister of Mormon fellas, posing in Playboy. I mean, they don't exactly pose fully clothed, do they? Jesus Christ. This brandy's going down well, okay? Jock Martins. I have a friend who likes to wear a sailor suit on weekdays and pretends he's a sailor to impress the ladies, believe it or not. Maybe that sounds all right. But you get there are some weird bastards in this world. I see. What was his name? Was it Donahue? Was it Jerry Springer? It was one of them. You get these fellas. Oh, sickening. You get this fella on that show. He like to dress up as a baby in a nappy. A grown man dressed up as a baby in a nappy with a dummy in his mouth, and. Oh, God, weirdo. He just liked to do that. There was a bit in the show. Oh, my God. I can't remember whether it was Donahue or Jerry Springer. It was one of those shows. There was a bit in the show where on the stage he shit himself. Oh, my God. There are some sick bastards in this world. there is some sick bastards in this world. No, what's overseas? Okay, okay. Not as bad as a bloody middle-aged man, but dressed up as a baby and wearing that. Sick bastards in this world. There are some sick bastards in this world. Okay, Kenny Bark done a job at the moment, church in London. Nightmare trying to get the money out of them. 6-week job and had 3 blokes on it. Took about 2 months for payment. Stay clear of that. I don't think people there like Mormons very much. I'm learning this. I just thought, Mormons equals Donny Osmond, Donny and Marie and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know all of this about them. Jesus Christ. You monks, lucky you done prison 1994, not about anymore. Who are we talking about there? Who are we talking about there? Gemini Star. Jesus Christ! If I was like, a doctor in an hospital having to pull a hamster, or a gerbil out of someone's ass. Oh, I don't like creeds, I don't like rodents, but I feel sorry for them. I'd want to cuddle the poor bastard. All right, mate. All right, mate. You know what I mean? You're just being in this shit. You know what I mean? You're all right. You poor little gerbil being shoved up someone's ass. Oh my God. Simon I's 41. Even Savile had his lazy followers. Lost order. Oh, they're all bloody sick bastards. I'm not going to go on too much about Savile. I'm not going to go on about that. But you know what? Let me tell you something. Let me say my piece about that dirty, dirty bastard. Okay. Let me say a piece. When I was a little lad, okay. When I was a little lad, I was going around Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Blackpool Pleasure Beach, yes. And it was with my mum and dad, okay? And all of a sudden, and there's bloody Jimmy Savile there. I'm surrounded by people and little young lad. I seen Jimmy Savile there. And Jimmy Savile, we always a famous person. That's Jimmy Savile there. And I just stood a few feet away from Jimmy Savile. And you know what? That guy just looked through me. He just gave me the strangest bloody look that I think I've ever had in my life. I thought, man, what is that guy thinking? What does he think? Oh my God, oh, Jesus Christ. It was kind of airy. But what is about Jimmy Savile? I didn't like it. I couldn't see the point of Jimmy Savile. I didn't see what it was all about. When I was a little kid, I used to like watching Top of the Pops, as you do. I was born in 62, so around 1970 as a little kid. I watched Top of the Pops or whatever was on there. And I've seen people like Tony Blackburn and Dave Lee Travis and all of those other players. And to a young child watching Top of the Pops, all of those people like Tony Black, they look like young adults, people who would have an empathy with the hit parade, with the pop music stuff and all that. And whenever Jimmy Savile came on, I hated that guy. Even as a young kid, I thought, what's he doing there? He's an old man. He's an old man. Why is an old man present someone who looks like an old man? I hate it when Jimmy Savile come on. Why is an old man bloody presenting a TV program which is aimed at youthful people and all that? And then he was on Jim Will Fix It, which I bloody hated, and whatever. Come on. Let's be realistic about this. Let's be realistic. He was very, very manipulative, very, very clever and manipulative, that guy. So he never ever got on Top of the Pops or radio or Jim Will Fix It because of his talent. He was he had no personality. He looked like an old man. The reason that he was there, he influenced people in order to deliberately get him there. And why was he so desperate to get on Top of the Pops and Jim Will Fix It? Why would he manipulate in order to get himself on those programs? It's bloody obvious, isn't it? Access to children. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, bloody obvious. They were all in on it. They must have known about it. They must have bloody weirdo. Anyway, enough about it. I'm not going to say any more about Jimmy Savile. Stephen Fordex. I used to work with a guy whose nickname was the Vicar, and yes, he would put a collar and black jacket on for stuff night out. It was a tosser, but a bloody worked. Girls flocked to him. Okay. Landon Gunn. Do you think it's weird that most Americans have no idea what sausage rolls are? Do you like sausage? I like sausage rolls. Okay, I like sausage rolls. I wouldn't eat them too often because you become a fat bastard if you do that. Stephen Forex, Simon Eyes. Remember seeing all the people lining the street for his funeral car on TV? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he raised a lot for charity, didn't he? Funny enough, when Savile died, didn't he have an auction? To, he got £1 million or so for all his tracksuits and all that. And then when the news broke about him, they were valueless. I wouldn't want a Jimmy Savile tracksuit. No thanks. Yogi Bear, Jehovah's Witnesses are just as bad, Ed. I'll tell you what. I've actually met some Jehovah's Witnesses. I'd tell you what. I went once with a friend of mine. We went to Gran Canaria. Yeah, we did a little cheapo holiday in Gran Canaria once. And the very, very first night I was there, we run into these women there, these women, and there was a guy there with some baldy head that looked like Uncle Fester. And cut a long story short, one of the women, she was a Welsh woman, good looking, dark hair, nice figure, and all this. She wouldn't keep her hands off me, not just give me the camera. She had her hands all over me. And it's cut a long story short. I went back to their little complex where they were all staying, and I was sitting on the couch with her, and another one of the women said, "Are you religious?" I said, "No." She said, "What do you think of Jehovah's Witnesses?" I said, "Well, I know how to confuse them. Invite them in for a cup of tea." Okay, fine. I didn't realize that they were all Jehovah's Witnesses. But anyway, I'll tell you what, this woman, this Welsh woman, bloody good-looking woman, nice body and all the rest of it. Anyway, cut a long story short. We're all guys together, all men's words, okay. Right, and it's late at night, okay. Took her out on the balcony outside, gave her one, yeah. Took her back into the kitchen, up against the table, rumpy, rumpy. But she was a sexy bitch. She was a red hot sexy bitch, and she was a Jehovah's Witness. That's right. I bonked a Jehovah's Witness, and it was bloody good. I tell you what. Jesus. I mean, imagine doing that with Marie. I don't think I could have so much luck with Marie husband. And I met another Jehovah's Witness once, a blonde woman who had big tits. And Jehovah's Witnesses are cool. I don't mind them. Bring them on, man. Okay, and nobody's overseas. Steady Eddie, that thing you're talking about would now be considered one of the whatever. Oh, I don't. What is it now? Steady like that thing you told me when I was one of the many whatever. Oh no, sorry, I don't want to go. I don't want to. It's getting a bit heavy now. Let's talk about light-hearted stuff. Like Shag and Jehovah's Witnesses, stuff like that. Let me see. David Coleman, come on, guys. Girls with dogs love peanut butter. Okay. Let's see. Well, I bet he listens. I bet Jimmy Savile at a garden fight near Leeds about 15 years ago. All the kids were crying. I don't blame him. He was a creepy bastard. What was he doing on top? As a young kid, I seen this bloody old man on top. I thought, what's he doing there? He doesn't belong there. He's a bloody creepy old man. I thought that then. No, that's overseas. He misread the contract. He thought it was top of the toss. Like it. Stephen Forrest, I hate having to ask for links in America. I want to sauce it with my brekkie, not a damn party. Okay. David Coleman, my girlfriend worked at a top bar in Toronto. I had a drink with Peter O'Toole. I remember of the rest of it. Yeah, Peter was fine. One of them was great. Lawrence of Arabia, yeah, great. I don't think he made as many great movies as some of the other British actors in that league. He didn't go on to. I don't think he was any Michael Caine or Sean Connery. But yeah, Peter O'Toole, great actor. Gemini Star, I often get a Jehovah's Witness is knocking on the door. Does she have big tits? Does she? The ones that I've met have. Jock Martins, Ed, you're good looking. You're good looking. Nothing you can do about it. Okay, fine. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm going to have a little drink of brandy. Okay, we've waffled on for about an hour and 52 minutes. We've had a bit of a laugh. It's nice to talk about things other than travel. I know last night we done a live stream where it was travel. But on this channel, we talk about other things. Whatever you want. We've still got 100 people in the chat here. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. Who's that? Who's that? Steve Forrest, Ed getting riled up. Okay. Who's this? Chugsy, how much do you drink, Ed? I've said this before, but it's not unusual for me to get order a shop delivery from Asda for 130 quid, and basically it's 30 quid of food. The rest, yeah, okay. I like a drink. Make no secrets of it. Okay, let me see now. Let me see. Okay, Gemini Star. Did you repent, Eddie? What when I had Rumpy Pumpy with a Jehovah's Witness? Yes, I went. The power of Christ compels you. That's what I did. Okay. Chugsy, yes, very submissive. Sure. Okay. Yogi Bear, I sorted next door out once in the washing machine. That was a full spin. Good for you. Jock Barnes, use roll up in the white rose that creep and kids used to on the bunk. Oh God, almighty, don't any of that. Okay, anyone else? And no matter overseas, Lol, it's funny you say. One of my ex-girlfriends was a born-again Christian. The only girls I've ever met that were more raunchy and kinky than her are the crazy bar girls. Okay, fine, thank you. You Mongus, what is Jehovah's Witness' favourite band? The Doors. I mean, but what is Jehovah's Witness? What the hell's that all about? Don't you have some stupid bloody crackpot religions? Jehovah's Witness. So you're saying, well, what did you witness Jehovah do? Was he having a wank at the time or something? Is that what they witnessed? I don't know what the hell they're supposed to witness. I don't care. Chugsy, is there any gel in the folk or you supposed? Okay, whatever. Issa man, you're talking about Prince Charles' best mate. Really, there are so many of these famous people from the royal family to bloody they're all weirdos. Haven't you ever thought to yourself, Jesus, he's a celebrity, he's rich and he's famous, and I'd swap places with him in a heartbeat. Do you know what I remember when I was a young man on the Dole in Liverpool in the 1980s during the worst recession that Britain has ever seen, and I was in the West. There was 3 or 4 million people unemployed. I couldn't get a job anywhere, absolutely anywhere. Around about the early 1980s, and you know what? I do remember a moment. I remember a moment that I had the radio on, and the DJ said Michael Jackson's Thriller album is still #1 in the American Billboard charts. It's breaking records left, right, and center, and all of this. And I thought to myself, do you know what? Right now, at this moment, that guy Michael Jackson has got absolutely everything, and I've got nothing. If I had one wish right now, I would swap places with that guy. I would swap places with Michael Jackson because I've got absolutely nothing. And he's at the other end of the extreme. He's got absolutely everything. And it's a funny old world, isn't it? Because it was many, many years later, for all the bloody money in the world, I wouldn't want to be Michael Jackson. I wouldn't want to be Michael Jackson at all. I'm glad that I'm dull, Eddie, the working class, who couldn't get a job in Liverpool, who had to move south to find work. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be Michael. It's a funny old world, isn't it? It's a funny old world. Anyway. You monks, is it Sue Eddie that facing translates to wipe it? I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means, mate. It's hard to Prince. We'll talk about him sometime. Stephen Ford actually had one thing he didn't have, the functioning nose. Okay, he did become a bit of a weirdo. And nomad overseas, I should have. My ex-girlfriend, born again Christian, was instructed in a church that Earth was 6,000 years old and dinosaur bones are actually the remains of demons. Talked about in the battle. It's all a load of claps, all a load of bloody claptrap, isn't it? All a load of claptrap. Who's this? Jock Martin said, I heard you were handy that move up. No. Gemini star Michael Jackson never had a childhood. Well, the boy wonder. I mean, I love the Jackson 5. I love the Jackson 5, and I love Motown and Michael Jackson, and and all this kind of. It's just a funny old world, isn't it? Funny old world. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I've waffled on almost a couple of hours. I'm going to finish soon. Couple more little couple more little comments, and then I'll go. Okay, Simon, when I started on the railway in 1984 in Leeds, we were expected to see Savile like royalty, but I always knew he was on. His gaze was like the devil. I swear I saw his eyes glaze red. Oh, horrible, creepy guy. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, so guess what? Knobhead is back. Knobhead is back. The dickhead of the night. Yeah, there you go. Eds won't reach 50k subs. Okay, Knobhead is back. Okay, have a nice evening now. Go and play with yourself. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Put you up there. There you go. I bet when this show finishes, you're going to look in the mirror and say, "Whoa, I was clever tonight. I was a star tonight." Putting all this trolley shit, and then you go to bed with your teddy bear. I bet you're hugging Teddy in bed, and you're probably 43 years old, and you still live with your mum. I bet when you're hugging Teddy bear in bed with your glass of milk, beside you. You shout down to your mum, come and tuck me in, mum. And then your mum comes up, and you're 43 years old. You probably never had a shag in your life. I mean, your biggest satisfaction is hugging Teddy and your glass of milk in the night time. And then your mum and then she kisses you like, oh, go to bed, you 43-year-old man child, you dickhead. Anyway, okay. Anyway, okay. So anyway, there we go. On that note, I'm gonna say good night. Thank you. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. 3 barrels brandy is not that bad. It's not that bad. And I'll see you pretty soon. Okay, tomorrow night. I won't be doing a live stream, but I'll pop up over the weekend, probably on this channel anyway. Listen, I love you all, guys. Absolutely. Thanks for the chat. We've had a fun evening, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great weekend, guys. Cheers.